up to the other players to really step up when that happens. And so far for JDG, that is not in the last 3 games.
Yeah, not just on Peyz, too. We saw Missing really get outplayed and ran around the map there by Meiko once he was set behind. So definitely, impacting Peyz's ability to carry and Missing's ability to impact the map has been a winning formula for teams going up against JDG of late. As the gambit here for JDG was leave the Rumble and the Varus up. Rumble banned away from Alba and JDG. Gotta imagine it's going to be a Varus first pick here for Peyz.
Something that can do some damage from long range. Very flexible in terms of how it molds into a draft, which makes it very valuable here in this B1. We'll see what IG wants to do here on the back end of things. Again, that Xin Zhao is really a high priority jungle, but was taken away by JDG. So the response is going to be a Jace as well as that Jhin. I remember we were highlighting maybe a Jace pick with the Scion ban on IG side in game 1. We're going to get it instead in game 2.
That's a lot of range already showing for IG, and potential specialty pick for TheShy. Hasn't played the Jace yet. This split might just get his hands on it here. Would be, do have to add that Rookie can play this as well. So is some flexibility between the IG solo laners here who wants the Jace, as potentially also could open up for a Lilia jungle pick later on, which I'm curious, because with K'Sante taken, I will say you really want to find picks against Lilia. Lilia has snuck through the draft here and has really emerged as a power pick in the LPL. We've also seen Shun starting to play more of his, I'd say, pocket picks, which are the Nidalee, which he hasn't played as much, but has also been the Kindred.
Yeah.
So potential to see that one as well. But with Nautilus being taken here, I mean, you got to believe, you got to pick Alistar here or it's going to get banned away. I think that's really the choice that IG is looking at, with, of course, Rel and Leona, the other 2 big main engaged supports, being off the board. So I think it's going to be Alistar picked up, and then we'll see if there's any Silas bans aimed at Scout, as Alistar showing first 3. Definitely have to think about Silas with the mid laner not being selected for JDG.
I mean, it's a classic pick for Meiko as well, so gonna be able to perform on it. Definitely knows all the ins and outs of this champion, as that's rounded out the first phase of our draft. JDG, with this very beefy front line that they locked in with their 2-3, means that Shun could potentially go for a more aggressive high damage pick, something like that Lilia or the Kindred that you were discussing. And same thing goes for Scout. However, that Silas, as you mentioned, has some high prio as well, with the Alistar being locked in. Very curious to see where IG direct their bans, because there's a lot of good options that this mid jungle could pick up.
If I'm JDG, I think I still ban Renekton, as I know TheShy and his Renekton, it's iconic. Some people love TheShy for his Nidalee. I love TheShy for his Renekton. I think he's unbelievable on that champion. And it is a match where you can play into K'Sante, so I think that's showing some respect that this could still be flexible for IG. That said, of course, Sai was taken away. And I will say the one thing I also like for JDG, said a lot coming into this game, Grapes, right? The last few games, we have seen the JDG bot lane get focused and set behind. Varus plus Nautilus, this should be a double winning bot lane early on for them, as Nautilus has real priority against that Alistar, and the Varus versus Jhin matchup should be good for Varus early on too. So see if JD Gaming can make some good use out of that.
I mean, getting some good prio in for Peyz is something that has been desperately needed over the last couple of series, over the last couple of games. So would be very nice to see a pop-off performance from JDG Star Marksman. It feels like it's been a while, which is not something we've been able to say for the majority of the season. Again, Peyz, one of the more consistent, high-performing players on this team, in this league overall, and has not happened over the last couple of games. So if JDG want any chance to even up the series, he's going to have a good game. As you mentioned, Kindred banned away from Shun. We'll see what the final takeaway is here for JDG, as they are still looking for both a jungler and a potential soul laner. It's going to be the Poppy off the table that does a little bit of both.
Okay, so again, Poppy, that's something you can play into K'Sante. TheShy actually played that matchup, so again, maybe being wary of the fact that this could be a Lilia into flexing that Jace moving forward. I think Malachi, also a potential pick that could come in here for Jiejie, would really fit that control identity, and you'd have the saplings to then also set up for the Jhin, but it would lead to being a little bit low damage. Oh boy, Annie just going to be blinded here by Rookie and IG. Again, Annie, a pick that has really emerged as a premier mid laner after she's gotten pretty significant buffs in the last 2 patches. And we have seen when Annie's able to drop Tibbers, the boom boom damage is real. That said, with her being selected here and a tank already showing in K'Sante, ability for JD Gaming to maybe get very tanky as a team. I know hovering the Galio, and it is going to be the Jarvan that comes in against Jhin plus Annie. I think that Jarvan is a pick that has seen some buffs. I'm really expecting to see more Jarvan as we enter best of 5s and jungle pools get narrowed there. we are going to see it from Shun here, an ability to attack 3 carries that are kind of squishy and have trouble dealing with Cataclysm. So I like the pick here.
Maybe it's too low damage, but the Galio would be very nice, as I feel like overall IG don't have a ton of damage in their composition right now in terms of things that can burst down tanks specifically. But instead, it's going to be the Orianna that is locked in for Scout, providing a lot of good combinations, specifically with that Jarvan ulti. You can put the Shockwave right on top of the Jarvan, allow for him to come in and do some work onto those backline carries. So JDG have themselves a very easy to execute composition, a lot of front-to-back team fighting at their disposal, whereas IG have a little bit of poke, and we'll see what they mix in here, as they're most likely looking for something on JJ's hands for this R5. The Wukong will come through, and that is a very interesting composition that IG have set up for themselves.
I really like JDG's draft. I think that their ability to, with the Jarvan Orianna combo, force the flashes out of IG and especially punish them when they are down, it's real. It should be JD Gaming able to play faster with this composition that they have. For IG, though, we have seen the Annie at 6, how much damage she is able to put out. I think that when you have these Annie compositions selected, it's really important that you're able to really take advantage of the strength of Annie at the first item, before the first, like at 6, and going into that second item, because once the luxury items come in for a team, you get the Banshees, you get the Zanyas, you get ways to actually play out of that big combo. A lot of the power of Annie does fall off throughout the game. And I do think that mid lane definitely a place to look out for early on. Jarvan's ability to interact to try and punish Annie is real. And also Annie, of course, can bring the damage in the CC to set up for a Wukong. So wouldn't be surprised we have 3 camps in the drive-by mid lane ganks, or at least posturing to try and protect anything happening there.
Yeah, I agree with you in the sense that JDG's composition very easy to execute, and honestly, IG look a little disjointed in terms of how they exactly want to play the game. You have these poke champions on the Jace and the Jhin. You have all-in champions here in the mid-jungle, so we'll see how it all kind of adds up here as Invictus Gaming looking to close this series out against, again, a JDG team that may be stumbling a little bit over their last couple of series. Again, they dropped some big games to top esports specifically. We were wondering what they look like against the middle of the pack, and in that first game in a battle for that potential 4th seed, it did not go their way. So now, with fully new rosters lined up in terms of the champion pools, onto the Rift we go for game number 2 of JDG versus IG.
Only one round?
Was that it?
I guess that was it. All right. I
was waiting for the second one too.
To hop back in.
Yeah.
I guess that was only one round. A bit of a bummer. We were hoping to have more Jiejie. Always definitely a highlight participating in the LPL broadcast. A privilege to hear the fans and them make some noise in these home arenas for the teams.
Yeah.
Of course, being in JDG's home arena for this one, backs up against the wall. Need to find a win if they want to push this series to 3 and make things interesting.
Especially in the fact that there's multiple arenas around China that are able to still pack the place every single time. Very, very cool to see, different home crowds show up, and having that regionality a little bit in the LPL, a really nice feature compared to some of the other places where we're starting to see across the globe, things in the LEC. We saw those road shows. Those
road shows are cool, yeah.
Were pretty successful, but JDG, the LPL, they've got it down.
I mean, it's kind of nice when you have teams that own arenas that also rent them out to other games like Valorant. Of course, that is the reason why we have 7 best of 3s in 10 days for JDG. They did rent out their home arena to write games in Valorant, what we heard earlier on. Shout out to Tuyuk on Twitter, who was helping us figure that one out. It's got to say, Scout has the conditioning and the unflinching of the Orianna. I actually quite like that. Conditioning going to help later on and get extra mileage out of the Zanyas, the defensive boot, and help survive the upfront damage from the Annie. So nice to see Orianna playing around with her keystones a little bit. That rune page, I think it's actually going to be a nice advantage.
As we're finally starting to see some early aggression pay off here for the JDG bot lane. Missing hitting level 2 first and going forward with that dredge line and going to force Gala and Meiko away. Steer switch positions right now favoring IG, which is not maybe what people were expecting going into this series, but it is rather close all around, so best of luck to all y'all as you send your channel points in.
These are fan predictions, Grapes, and IG has a lot of fans just given the way they play.
True.
So I like to see the fans, of course, finding a reason to be fans of this team that is quite fun And surely will not find a way to send us to a game 3, Grapes. This team would never do that to us.
Nope, never. Now, even after that last game, you saw how clean they looked, right? Surely they don't look totally different in this one. Totally not jinxing anything. As, again, trying to lock in that top 4 means so much. Not having to risk playing a best-of-5 do-or-die matchup against even a team that is maybe you consider to be a little bit weaker, but just having to be in that one-off, not a happy state. Currently 2 of those 4 automatic spots locked in with AL and Top Esports already clinched. BLG looking close to clinching at this point, especially with their win earlier today against NIP. And so now it kind of goes down to that one final spot. JDG and IG are the ones that are currently the closest towards fighting for it.
Of course, JDG in that 4th slot, IG only a few games back in the 5th slot. There is a bit of a gap between those 2 teams, but of course a win here for IG would help close that. As we haven't talked about the game too much because it has just been 2 full clears on the junglers, but of course did tease that potential action mid as Rookie.
Oh, wow. It's a dive onto Scout in the mid lane. Jiejie picking up that kill, but it's going to be matched by Shun, who actually is the one to pick up first blood at the end of the day. And now with that Conqueror proc, and with Jiejie without many cooldowns, the flag and drag is going to come through, but Jiejie flashed in a straight line. It's going to allow for Shun to take an extra tower shot, and somehow the Wukong will live. Both mid laners are teleporting right back, and it could be Rookie going straight for his doom.
Oh, no,
he doesn't have the ability to flash in onto Shun, and the Rookie will die again. Another kill going for JDG as a desperately needed fight goes their way.
Oh, surely, of course this would get interesting in an IG series. As Rookie TPs to his death, that's going to kill mid. Again, Annie, you want to get ahead in this game. Utilize the power that she brings early. A TP into death like that doesn't feel good if you're Rookie. Going to have to be swaps across the map as TheShy rotates mid to pick up as much of this wave as he can. No, it's actually going to be Rookie able to get majority of it. He's going to go back bot, though. And again, JDG, the comp that we said like early on with the poke Varus and their ability to one-shot people definitely has some strength. Of course, punish flashes being down, something we're going to be looking out for with this team. But 2 deaths early on onto Rookie, that's going to hurt a lot as, again, Annie, a big part of the strength and early strength that IG is looking to try and match this firepower from JDG.
Yeah, I mean, a very big mistake from somebody who's had such a storied history in the LPL in Rookie. And he had a great game on Thalia in game number 1 as well. That's not a champion mistake. That's not an excuse that you can make, oh, I'm playing Annie for the first time, right? He saw Jiejie was 1 HP under his tower and still decided to TP to that location, and it did not end up working out well for him. So overall, another death for him. He does have the lucidity boost to make sure that he's going to be able to have that flash up as much as possible, have that tippers up as much as possible, but still a bit of a rough start here for Invictus Gaming. They have been able to farm up nicely, specifically for TheShy up at the top side, but the rest of the map has been falling behind a little bit.
Looks like TheShy will be going for that early lethality too, already showing on the Jace. So going to be hunting for the backliners, not the frontliners. Will have to be other people that deal with the tanks in the front line for IG. Dragon will be the focus here, and really no surprise that JDG is going to take this one again. The Naught plus Varus, for me, that's double prio in the bot lane, as I think they both win the matchup out against their counterparts early on. And that has been played out decently well for JDG in this matchup. Maybe hunting for Meiko, but Meiko gets sidestepped on the dredge line. Just going to be the dragon that does get secured for JDG as they pick up the mountain dragon for themselves.
So obviously things looking much better for JDG right now. They have a kill onto Shun, a kill onto Scout. However, the gold's still in IG's favor. Again, a large part of that due to the farm differential in the top side. But that'll continue to even out a little bit as soon as we see more priority utilized here. In that mid jungle, we see the grub spawning in about a minute. Level 6 hit for all junglers in all areas of the map except for the bot lane right now, which means that some of the spells are going to be really impactful here as now Peyz is going to get targeted. Meiko stuns him up already with that flash being burned. The cleanse doesn't do anything, and Jiejie picks up the kill with ease.
Yeah, bop bop, 2 empowered Qs thanks to the R, and that's going to be Peyz falling. Both summoner spells down as well. Could mean something for a potential grub fight coming up here. Is Scout going to burn an ultimate and try and force Rookie on out? Does do so successfully.
So another instance of Peyz dying early on in a game, Cubby, even when he was maybe put in a better position in the early laning phase with the help of Missing's Nautilus. Gets collapsed upon by Jiejie, allows for another kill to go his way. He's now 2-0-0, and IG making their way back in the side lanes.
Yeah, again, swaps coming out as both of our teams going to look towards the Herald. Jhin, Alistar going mid, mostly because, again, Rookie was forced out. So just getting that big wave that was crashing there as a plate does go to the wayside. Not going to be able to be picked up by IG on the top side, but still, as you highlighted earlier on, TheShy doing his best to, again, do decent work in that top lane. And Jace is a champ that's been banned out against IG about 25% of the time. Again, they actually have not locked in Jace once or split 2 proper between both Rookie and TheShy, been mostly opting to play into it, which has been quite interesting. It's not like they've been banning it themselves, so the fact that it's TheShy's first Jace game, a champ that definitely has been associated with TheShy in the past, something to look out for.
Yeah, I mean, he hasn't done much on the map right now yet, but...
This is his 5th Jace game of the Split Grapes. I fear that it's 6:30 in the morning, and I have not slept.
I was trusting you on that.
I was blind as hell.
I thought you had the numbers on that.
Rookie's played 1-2. Wow, that's brutally bad. All right, we're going to move on from this point.
Has TheShy played, like, was it split 1?
I am beyond fraudulent. We're just going to leave it at that.
It's all good, as, you know, more experience for him to utilize here on this game. He's not here at this fight just yet, but he has potential to cut JDG off from that top side river as the Grubs have spawned. But Meiko is chunked down to 40%, and JDG are looking to fight this one.
That hurts with Meiko being down like that. Shun, though.
Oh, he flashes away, but goes straight into Timber's arms. Rookie finds the engage. Shockwave not finding anything. And that's the Feats of Warfare picked up right now for IG. Teleport comes from Mala. He's very far away, but he's going to be able to use it all out on only Meiko. He doesn't get able to go to the wall. And Gala gets himself a double kill at IG. Pick up another 2 kills.
I mean, the off series just continues here for Scout as the Shockwave finds nothing. And again, Shun taking that EQ in, very questionable. Rookie was showing on the Annie, had that flash available. Any mistakes you make into Annie are going to be punished like that. And that's something where, again, you can use that EQ to actually buffer out of a stun from Annie. The fact that it was down and Shun just eats it in mid. Mistakes from JDG. Like, this is a Wukong that has a clone. Like, this is just not worth it for Shun. Meiko was able to at least get the flash out. It's a freebie for Rookie as the one-shot comes in. And why is the Shockwave even being casted by Scout? They actually use it to, like, threaten here. Make sure that IG can't push through the choke. Instead, that doesn't connect. Awa shorts the ultimate too, not able to get Meiko through the wall. And it's just JDG in their home arena flubbing a couple plays and giving IG a path back into this game.
Yeah, just a miscomm there between Shun and Scout. Scout obviously thought that Shun was going to just dive back in and try to sacrifice himself to get in a shockwave position, but...
It was the hammer swing from TheShy. He's just the GOAT. He read it in that far in advance, right? It definitely wasn't a misclick.
Totally, yes.
Not a misplay. Yes. That was TheShy being him, you know? Himothi.
That's my IG narrative that we needed. Thank you. Thank you for correcting me, as IG can do no wrong here in this series.
Never ever.
So far.
We're certainly not going to 3 because IG just decides to go to 3 later on in this game. That would never happen in an IG game ever.
Like, you're saying that, but like this right now is not looking good for JDG. Now we have to start questioning, like, how is this team gonna look going into the rest of the season, right? Like, they still have this massive gauntlet that they have to continue to face that include games against teams like Weibo, FPX, or not Weibo, but FPX, BLG, like teams that they definitely are gonna want to have to beat, but who knows if they're gonna be able to at this point.
Look, straight up, like, out of this team, I really need to see more out of Scout. I feel like Scout is one of the best mid laners in the LPL. If you look at him playing in this league throughout the last, 3, 4, 5 years. And I just haven't seen it from Scout this split. We've seen some really uncharacteristic mistakes where he's been greeting waves that he can't take or just having poor fights. I think that he really was enabled with the 2 kills onto Rookie early on to maybe take over this game. Did flub that first team fight after he flubbed a lot of last game on his Azir. So need to see more out of Scout moving forward. I think that with the Jarvan and the Nautilus, there is a real potential for Scout to have a big game. Like, Orianna has tools, has ball carriers to be set up for success in this one. Just needs Scout to be able to cash it in.
And we are talking Doomer right now, but there's still 100% angle for JDG to get back into this game. If they play their cards right, if they're able to find their team fights in that 5v5. But it's looking a little tough right now, especially because they were able to, they haven't looked good in any of those team fights, at least yet. We have not seen that Jarvan Orianna combo work out so far. And just some misplays all around here. They're going to try to find some sort of trade here as Ala goes all out on her rookie with Shun on the way on the Jarvan. Tippers comes out and stuns out Ala, but this Cassante is very tanky. They're going to set things up for Shun. He's going to be able to claim the kill, and the Annie will go down. On the other side of the map, though, it is IG already picking up a kill onto the opposing mid laner as Scout has fallen again. Jiejie looking for the kill on the Peyz. Peyz doesn't have any sort of damage to fight back, and IG will strike with the better trade, 2 for 1, and maybe looking for 3, as Missing is completely isolated here underneath this tier 1 turret. TheShy goes to the skies and gets another kill.
Get trades across the map, but it's IG coming out on top. I do like the play coming out from Awa and JDG on the bot side. I feel like that's appropriate with Rookie being down flash, but IG trade up top side as they find more on the play, and TheShy picks up the first turret.
Very worth it for IG. You get a turret, you get 2 kills, 3 kills, I should say, for just the 1. And it was Jiejie getting caught up by Scout a little bit, but that Shockwave does no damage right now. And with the play happening on the bot side, part of you has to wonder, Cubby, is it worth it for Scout and Missing to try to save the play here?
I mean, great W from Jiejie and Peyz. This flash over the wall, unwarranted, as the Sundered Sky kicks in before the E healing reduction and Peyz melts. If Peyz connects with that Q, I think that the flash is warranted. The fact that it missed, unwarranted from Peyz as he kind of throws his life away there.
That was a MOBA trainer big no-no that we learned in the first series.
Yeah, you know, your tools were down. That was actually, I missed that one on the first play. I was more focused on the dive from Scout, but definitely JDG kind of quickening their own demise. And of course, plates have just fallen, Grapes, and we have TheShy making quick work of this bot lane. Is missing. Good dredge line that cancels the combo coming out from Meiko, gives him time to flash away. But still, TheShy is the big benefactor out of the gold that was picked up for IG, and this is his Jace, man, and his ability to try and snowball this game through. Curious to see if TheShy can do it.
I mean, it's been a lot about JJ. It's been a lot about the mid laner so far, but TheShy right now, 2,000 gold ahead of Ala, just kind of for free. He's able to scoop up some kills here or there in some of these extended skirmishes. He is getting a little bit far forward here as Scout is going to shockwave him back in. Going to be followed up at the Pathmaker. A nice combo of damage here from Ala and Scout, and it is enough for that shutdown to go over to the Cassante.
All right, well, you know, TheShy, look at his team. They were on reset. He decided to try and take one more wave. Unfortunately, TheShy could not take said wave. Scout, good rotation on him as he was able to help Ala secure that shutdown. Iceborne Gauntlet now secured in the inventory of Ala, as TheShy unfortunately goes a little bit too far. Goes down, and IG have to clean up the rest of the map as they're sticking to their strong side, and we'll see what kind of work Rookie can get done on that top inner turret, but it should be JDG getting the bot outer for themselves as the Herald is being secured by IG. So, bit of a trade. TheShy goes down, and JDG picks up a turret, but hey, see what kind of Herald value IG can get, as that was picked up by Ala.
Gold lead, though, continuing to spiral here for IG. JDG gets something back here as Scouts able to claim that bot lane tier 1, but now it's 2,500 in favor of Invictus Gaming. They have the Dragon spawning in less than a minute. Things looking very good for them right now in this game number 2. But, again, we haven't seen it yet, but the inconsistencies from this team are definitely prevalent, and we're not saying this to hate on what IG are doing here in this series. It's just a symptom of the history of what we've been able to see from them this entire season.
Yeah, we're just hating on the inconsistency of the season. And, I mean, again, IG in the tape, they've given us reason to be concerned about their consistency. But, hey, I will say, I think that Jiejie, for me, his form in Split 2 just hasn't been what it was for me in Split 1. He's been having a really nice series today, and he is the one that's fed on this Wukong. That is a very fast Black Cleaver to be completed in the inventories of the Wukong. And this is a pick where if you get ahead as Wukong, your ability to really stat check and push your weight around this game, it's big. We've seen Jiejie do a great job of that so far with his flash about to come off cooldown before this dragon fight. We'll see if that's big as Peyz.
Oh, they go right on to him. 100-0. That's Annie, baby, on the new patch. 2 kills for nothing in the mid lane as IG are going to look for more structures here. They take down the tier 1, pop Shelly, and going to have him send down to the tier 2.
That's going to be an inner falling, and this Annie pick is so damn strong on this patch. Again, it was a beautiful cleanse from Peyz, but he drops before that flash comes off cooldown, or he could get it off. As Peyz one-shot doesn't have access to that Edge of Night yet to help protect him from the Annie. And there's no protecting JDG from IG's Dragon take. as this is going to go over uncontested, and JDG continue to just be a team that, you know, despite being higher up in the standings and people having higher expectations for this super team being formed, where have they been today, Grapes? Like, they really haven't had control over either of these games against IG, who are putting up a really strong series in JDG's home arena.
The start of their gauntlet run, of their week of hell,
again, Peyz
certainly
no
feels like the week from hell right now.
Mm-hmm.
As they're in danger of losing their 4th straight game to open up
left.
this stretch of matches. Scout going to be in trouble as well. Meiko knocks him up. It's all too easy for Invictus Gaming as Rookie picks it up. The deadly flourish from downtown will lock Missing down 2. And it's a touchdown in advantage for IG in kills.
I mean, Grapes, do we have to sound the alarm on JDG? Like, are we concerned about them? Keep in mind, this is a team that's playing 7 best-of-3s in 10 days. Like, your form needs to be on point to go through a stretch like that. If they drop this series, it will be 2 losses to kick off that devious stretch that they have in the back half of the second round robin. And again, where has JDG been today? I feel like Ava's had a couple of nice moments or attempts on plays, but besides that, it feels like the rest of the team, I mean, has been missing, quite frankly.
And Missing has been too. 0-0-1, 0-3-1 on the Nautilus here. And he's going to die maybe again as he is way too far forward trying to catch some vision and make that 0-4. As the kills continue to mount up and not in JDG's favor, Cubby.
That was a very poor flash from Missing as the support GOAT is going to continue. Scout is flashless and Scout is dead. Meiko is running this series.
Shockwave finds 3.
Oh,
Chain of Corruption does land as well, so it looks like Scout will survive. Ola going in to try to go all out onto Meiko, but he's just way too tanky on this cow. They're going to instead look for Gala. He has both of his summoner spells, not going to use it just yet. Then going to flash away and use that 4th shot to get a little bit of poke onto Shun in the back end of that. So all things considered, no kills being thrown over, and it is the tier 2 going in favor of IG.
I mean, this is a 6K gold league, Grapes. And again, the matter of what IG's been doing this against JDG, like, a part of the IG conversation is we know that all 5 players on this team, there's a lot of pedigree over here. The question isn't, you know, were these guys great players? It is, are they still great players? And I think individually, IG, hella skilled. We just haven't seen them as a team play consistently enough across maps to really, you know, be confident they can be front runners in the LPL. This has been a damn good series from IG, man. Like, has this been the best series that we've seen from them so far this split, Grapes?
I mean, they beat who was it, Top Esports a little bit earlier on in the season, so maybe.
Yeah, but that was close, you know.
I gotta think about it. I mean, it might be. It's better than the first time they played JDG, that's for sure, because that series should have been a JDG win in more ways than one.
They've only been 0-2'd. Their only 2-0 was against Team WE. Every other one of their wins have been 2-1s. This would be their first 2-0. I think it might be
crazy.
This is the. I mean, that's IG. You know, IG. They like look at the LPL old slogan of "Crazy is our game." They're like, "Hold my beer, man. Watch this."
Well, they're the embodiment of that league throughout its history, right? Look at
they're hold my beer incarnate.
Hey, there's still time left in this game potentially. We don't want to jinx anything just yet, but it is looking like IG could pick up both their second best, or their second 2-0 sweep and their the second round robin. JDG is looking completely lost right now in this game number 2, in this series overall. In danger of falling to 4-6 in their last 10. You know, that's not top 4 material. I'll say it right now.
I mean, again, JDG just, this is not, I've seen days like this from them, like the Weibo series. I feel like Scout kind of solo through that one overall. I'm going to pause because Otacon's at half. JDG won a contest, but Rookie not spotted, has a good angle.
Yeah, finds the stun onto all. It's canceled by the Pathmaker, but the crowd control chain is just immense. And now Gala coming out here with the curtain call. He's going 1, 2, 3, and 4. All of those shots connecting, combined with the Tibbers on the Missing, is going to make sure that Nautilus goes down. It's Jiejie picking up the kill, and without even a chance to fight things out, it's JDG falling once more, and IG making their way back to the Otacon.
Rookie, after dropping 0-2-1, having that dud of a TP back in the mid lane where he died immediately after, has been so big this game, finding the angles on the Annie, and again, making this champ that has really recently risen into priority given the major changes that she got to her kit in the last 2 patches. look strong. And this is a pick that I really believe is going to be warping the meta and will be very big to watch when we enter the best of fives. I think that Annie is definitely something that teams have to figure out how to play and play into and be comfortable to have that in the games. I really feel like she's going to be making a lot of appearances in playoffs. Rookie's Annie been looking really good as Rookie has put together a great series into Scout, who, again, has had issues this split and continues to really lack that consistency we're used to seeing out of Scout.
Yeah, there were times in the second round robin as we started this one off that like Scout it looked like he was maybe trying to come back from some of the problems that he was dealing with in the earlier parts of the season. This is not one of those times, as hasn't been getting caught out as much, but I just feel like has had very little impact on the series overall. Not really contributing positively or negatively in a lot of senses. I mean, in terms of dying at least. You know, there were opportunities for him to make plays in that first game on the Azir. Wasn't able to find them. Same here on the Orianna, where he's whiffed multiple shockwaves.
Just
and maybe missed some opportunities to find some others.
I think about it. If you're going to talk about the two staple like mid lane picks throughout the history of League of Legends, Orianna and Azir, probably the two most popular. And Scout has had just a dud on both those champions 2 games in a row for someone that is, again, an elite mid laner in the history of League, right? A world champion. Someone's been...
Meiko gliding on him here with that flash pulverized combo. Shockwave only finding TheShy. And now here comes that engage. It's a big cyclone from Jiejie as Peyz goes down just like that. And do the rest of his team. There's Scout flashing away from the curtain call, but it's just going to delay the inevitable here in this game. Number 2, Jean dashing forward. We'll get one back here onto the Alistar, but the deadly flourish is pure. And Gala with a forced shot will send Scout down to the grave. Jean will fall. It's a 5-for-1 in favor of IG as they march down the mid lane.
Man, IG, you look damn clean today, man. Nothing else to say about this squad as they are just beating the pulp out of JDG. Again, cannot emphasize just how against expectations this series has been. I didn't think JDG was playing that great of late, but to have IG put together a series like this, Graves, this has been really the type of win that IG has been missing in their season. A dominant 2-0, to do so against JDG, the other really proposed super team that LPL built this past offseason in the second round robin. This has been IG's best look yet.
Yeah, and as you mentioned, taking a look at the recent history and just the general the state of the fact that 2-0s are not something that IG has come by very often. Definitely in the running for best series of the year.
Meiko's been so good. Meiko has absolutely just been gapping missing in this series. I know that Peyz flashed out of the initial engage, but hey, when Peyz walks back in, it's set up for Jiejie to find the collapse. He hunts down the poke Varus as the Wukong that got ahead early absolutely just melts him. And IG, again, melting. Scout, the shockwave was decent, but again, JDG behind in this one. And Scout only able to do what he can. As it sends to JDG from Iran in this game and in this series, really come back to bite them. And again, JDG, I mean, it really is the tale of two teams on the tape here. JDG, a team that is currently in our top 4. I felt like there was a gap between the top 4 and the rest of our teams. IG, the team that is really biting at their heels, and now will be 2-0 against JDG in terms of series score. Right below them in 5th place, looking for, of course, that top 4 finish, which does grant you that ticket directly in the playoffs outside of that do-or-die play-in match.
And remember, the gauntlet that JDG still have to face, and if they're in that current state, not a good sign of how the rest of the season could go.
That was fun.
Going for a last-ditch effort. The shockwave only finds Jiejie, and he's way too tanky to do anything about it. They take down Rookie on the back end of things, but that's not going to matter at all. Curtain call opened up, and looks like Gala is going to try to seal the deal here. The 4th shot barely goes wide, but it's not going to matter. TheShy gulfs Peyz away. It's going to be 4 more kills in favor of Invictus Gaming as they're going to take down this bot lane inhibitor, try to end the game against Scout.
I mean, 2 28-minute wins against JDG. IG, hell of a series from you, and maybe a hell of a second round robin as IG continues to stay on a bit of a heater here in the LPL and have a punishing win against JDG. We're going to need to show more if they want to secure that top 4 standing.
Nexus taken down, pure and an unadulterated obliteration for Invictus Gaming over JDG in that series. And Invictus Gaming going above 500 here once again.
Oh, look at the smiles.
They take down JDG. Some smiles here from them. I'm sure that series win felt good. Their first 2-0 of the second round robin. It was against one of the teams that they had to beat to keep their hopes of top 4 alive.
Hey man, congrats to Meiko. Hit his 10,000th assist in the LPL and absolutely just gapped the crap out of missing in those 2 games, quite frankly. It was a massive series from Meiko. I hope it's a back-to-back pog for him. And then, of course, Rookie, our short king in the mid lane, making good work of Scout, too. Again, IG, that was the best look we've seen from them. All split, as I don't know who this team is and what they did with the IG I'm used to seeing. But, hey, a damn good look for whatever 5 players that took the Rift today, man. Because that was a one-sided series in favor of IG. Again, just beat the pulp out of JDG.
And so BLG's wait continues to lock in that playoff spot. And, you know, the way IG is playing, could be a while until we get there. Take a look at their next 3 series. They have 3 series left for their LPL second round robin to conclude. It's NIP and FPX as their next 2 matchups. And those are very winnable games if you are IG. And then after that, it is a matchup against BLG, where you could potentially play your way into the playoffs spot just off of that alone. So you compare that compared to what JDG have to do to close their season out, going through that full gauntlet, playing 5 more series compared to just 3 more here for Invictus Gaming. And all of a sudden, I'm favoring IG to get that playoff spot to jump up into 4th position.
Don't let them bait you, Grapes. This has been the trap that IG sets for everyone in their history, all right? Don't be baited.
It would be the most IG thing ever to lose to, like, FPX next week.
Yeah, you can root for IG. You can. I'm a fan of this. But, again, this is a team that has lacked consistency. Again, I think that's the best 2 games, the best series we've seen out of them. I think it's their only second 2-0 of the year. Not to mention just this split where, again, it has been all 2-1 victories. IG, convincing wins. And for me, like, we've had a lot of different ideas as to how we can see IG kind of, you know, be more consistent or come to that form that we think that this team can hit. I think a lot of it, like we always joke about TheShy just being TheShy in the top lane. For me, it actually really has been Jiejie and Meiko. I think Meiko had an unbelievable series today. Again, congrats to him on getting 10,000 assists, almost 3,000 assists up on who was in second, which is just ballistic to think about. And I think deserving of a back-to-back MVP here, as Meiko was fantastic today.
Yeah, just a good shout-out to his legacy as well. Kind of in the LPL.
Him and Ming, man. Here. Yeah, him and Ming are my goats. Shout out to Chris, too, who's really snuck in there in the back half. And, of course, he's second all-time in that LPL assist list. So definitely deserving. But, yeah, Meiko, I don't think he's had his best year so far. That was a fantastic series from him. Big game on the Leona and the Alistar.
I mean, not much else to say about how the gameplay of this series went. For JDG, I don't know if we could pull up the Hell Week graphic again just to demonstrate the stuff that they still have to go through in this run.
I have faith.
And we were hoping.
She's got us.
We were hoping that this would be, a good thing for JDG. A chance for them to prove themselves. They went into this 7-3, right, in terms of where they were looking, and just hasn't been the case. It's been 0-2 to Top Esports, 0-2 to IG, and they play Weibo in like 19 hours from now. So they got to lock back in and get ready for another series against a tough team. I mean, I know Weibo is a team that has had their inconsistencies, but JDG also, at this point, have had theirs as well.
Weibo has definitely been cold of late, so one of those 2 teams has to find a win in that series. But again, Scout somehow out-damaging Rookie. That number looks fake to me. It really felt like Rookie was the more impactful mid laner in this one. And Jiejie versus Shun, we saw that Jarvan try to jump into that first fight, ate a face full of anti-damage, and really never recovered from there. As this top side for IG, TheShy and Jiejie, doing some good work. Of course, Jay's going to have a little bit higher damage number into K'Sante just being the tank. But yeah, this is where things started. Like, Shun taking that EQ in, just don't think that was the call. You got to at least hope to find ways to buffer Annie stuns or the Tibbers, the combos coming in. I think that's the real power of Jace, able to absorb that and go from there. As then we saw, again, things started off bad for JDG and really got worse. I mean, we're even skipping over some of the ganks in the early plays where IG had an advantage just from the get-go.
And just like game number 1, seemingly no situation where it really looked like JDG had any sort of chance. There were a couple of plays where maybe IG were limit testing a bit, but
yeah, that play they were just getting gapped again. Like this timer, Peyz was, I think Flash was up in 5 seconds from where he hit the gray screen here. That's good textbook league from IG as Rookie just trading off good Flash timers. Like that's what we wanted to see from IG. I mean, obviously this team is fun to watch because they do play chaotic. They do trust their hands, but We haven't seen that map play, that consistency out of them to really make sure that it's a clean win. This is the cleanest win we've seen from them all year. Probably the first win that we actually can even call clean for this team, as everyone really showed up on the day. And I really just want to credit Meiko and Jiejie. Felt like they really ran the rift with Rookie in this series. And again, it made it so that JDG, it never really felt like they even got into this series, which is tough to do against a team that has these 5 members in this pedigree on them. Of course, IG does bat some of the same, but yeah, they made JDG look silly in the series, quite frankly.
Yeah, a lot of questions here for what JDG can do, and all of a sudden, I mean, again, there's that question of inconsistency here, but if IG can look like this, all of a sudden we have like 4 very scary teams in the LPL.
You're getting beta grapes.
One of them is not, you know,
it's the can, you know, can. Yeah, you know, potential's always there. You sound like me talking about like the hottest NACL rookie that I can think of the year, you know.
Yeah.
Shout out Hoarder, who probably gets that.
That's my guy.
Yeah, Hoarder's been damn good in that ACL this year. Props to him, excited for playoffs this upcoming week. But yeah, again, IG, the team what can be, what could be. It was the team that was in that series against JDG. And for JDG, I mean, I think we got to start ringing some of those alarm bells, frankly, over there. Because this is a hell week that they don't look prepared for. It looks like a first-time Darkest Dungeon run-through or something like that, as they're just getting blasted on the Rift. I think they can bounce back against Weibo again. Weibo's been quite cold a little bit, as Xiaohu versus Scout could be the mid laner that hopefully shows up in that series. Maybe it determines the way of it, but again, real bummer for JDG. If you're a JDG fan, I mean, they did not show up today in a way that was very surprising for me. I don't think I've seen JDG look that flat all year.
I mean, they've
not since Demacia Cup.
Yeah, I mean, that was rough too. Since the beginning of their run where they started 3-0, JDG have looked like a middle of the bottom of the pack team, 4-6 overall in their last 10. As JJ gets the MVP, I know you wanted to give it to Meiko. I feel like this guy also performed on the Wukong.
He did.
Very much deserving of it as well.
That's fine. He had a solo kill on the Peyz, had some big engages there. We can give it to JJ. I thought it was a big game from him, but yeah. Meiko for me was the support goat that time around. Really good plays from Meiko.
Yeah, I mean, again, not much else to say. A testament to Meiko and his legacy here, more than actually a game of League of Legends that we watched here in this 2-0 that IG played against JD Gaming. As that top 4 just gets a little bit easier here for your team of legends, for your super team in IG, as they win their 8th series of the group stage in Group Ascend. But that's going to do it for our coverage here on LPL English.